You've all mentioned the fact that we obviously clearly don't have particularly good engagement. I just wondered how all three of you can justify being voted in by a system that you're clearly saying we're not engaged by. So how can you justify that that will actually make you a good president, because we're not engaging with students, so therefore only a very minority are actually going to ask you to be our president?
Good question. Well, hopefully, if I'm elected, and I feel I am the right candidate for the job, this next year will be an increased engagement through things like working with comms. This new radio station idea is, I think, unreal. It could get to everyone. To all appeals. Won't just be advertising or music. You can have, update on boost of sports scores. You can have the sports journalists doing commentary on games. You can have discussion groups at night times talking about how to settle in at uni, how to manage your money, how to manage your sexuality, anything. So I think within the following year, that's one of the main things that can be done to improve that.
It is a good question, and it's an important one, because what I got from the question was, you're asking how can we justify running for president when we feel that that not enough people are getting involved. How can we actually use that the data from that election? Yeah, that is a good point, but you have to put these things into context. Part of my work on the union this year, I went to Extraordinary Conference NUS, so I got to see how things are done on a national level, and I got to see how different universities operate. Now, the NUS, so the National Youth Students on the national level, they have ranked Leeds as the #1 university for student engagement. So you think, these guys are the best university in the country for student engagement. How many people vote in their election? 20%. The National Union of Students got judged 20% as an incredibly high, not just, #1 in the rank, much, much higher than their closest rivals. So we need to remember that this isn't just a Brighton problem, this is just a student problem. Our generation is kind of apathetic when it comes to these things, and it's because we've never really had, any kind of threat to our rights. We all came after civil rights. We came after the Great War. Our freedom has never really been threatened, so we're pretty happy with sort of our lot in life. And because of that, we kind of, aren't quite as revolutionary or as reactionary as some of us kind of exhibit today. But what needs to happen is a few small changes can happen to sort of, that won't turn this around into an 80% voting thing. That's not going to happen right now. That's something that's just ingrained in our culture at the minute. But what we can do is just make it easier for people to get involved. Look, when I go around and I speak to students, a lot of the times I hear is the SU doesn't listen to me. I can get involved if I want, but I'm going to be ignored. So why bother? I'll just hang out with my mates. At least when I speak to them, I get something back. That's why in my manifesto I've put clear points on how we can increase small things like changing our website, putting more money into our marketing, making it easier for students to tell us what they want, where we're going right, where we're going wrong, so that we can get past this era of, this feeling that a lot of students have, even right here in the Brighton campus, this feeling that the SU just doesn't listen to them anymore. So that's what I think about that.
I mean, people often talk about student apathy, yeah. And I think on a national average, it's something like 10% of students on a national average vote in the elections. But really, this idea of student apathy is something, if we really think about it, is non-existent, because everybody is passionate about something. I think it's up to the union to make sure it's not just operating as sort of a service industry, it's operating as something which people really feel is going to campaign on their behalf. And that needs sort of strong teamwork within it to really make this happen, I think.